Tonight on Joy News Prime, Electoral Commission clears 12 aspirants to contest the 2020 presidential election this December, disqualifying 5 of them in the process, referring their cases to the police for forging signatures.
He noticed that the handwritings were similar and the signatures were also similar and referred the matter to the CID division of the Ghana Police Service. The CID division confirmed that indeed a number of the signatures were fake, and the candidate has therefore been disqualified and will not contest in the 2020 presidential election.
The EC chairperson who announced the qualified aspirants reiterated the transparency of the electoral process does not give the Commission a chance to manipulate the results in favor of any party or individual.
The EC can never rig an election. The processes are transparent, they are credible, they are tight, and they are accountable.
We'll tell you who made it and who did not. NDC parliamentary candidate Fagona West in police custody in connection with the alleged plot to assassinate the gender minister.
Police invited the parliamentary candidates, Mr. Paul Ofori Amwa, who has also reported at the regional headquarters. And he has admitted of issuing the 2 bank checks that were picked by police at the hotel.
Multimedia gets 14 nominations at 2019 Ghana Journalist Awards.
Select some journalists who have gone the extra mile, not only journalists, also media institutions, who have really excelled in their coverage, in displaying their analytical power, displaying their innovative spark, displaying their editorial competence in covering this pandemic.
We'll be telling you the journalists who made the shortlist. In business,
Customs Division of the GRA intensifies measures to ensure that foreigners do not trade in goods produced in Ghana. We have more as we ready up for the Continental Free Trade Agreement next year.
Our hotline documentary, Robbing the Poor, detailing how some licensed cocoa buying companies and farmer society groups are exploiting the cocoa sustainability initiative to the disadvantage of the farmers who are supposed to be paid a premium for their produce. My name is Israel and Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our Fanofa studios at Kokomili here in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV, because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Stay tuned. The Electoral Commission has disqualified 5 of the 17 presidential aspirants who filed to contest the 2020 presidential elections, clearing 12 to stand as candidates. The 5 disqualified include 2 independent aspirants and flag bearers of the People's Action Party, United Front Party, and the United Progressive Party. EC chairperson Jim Mensah explained that 5 aspirants were disqualified because they were fraudulently endorsed by unqualified subscribers or forged signatures of some of the electorate. She also indicated the Commission has referred the issue of possible forgeries to the CID of the Ghana Police Service for investigations.
The 8th candidate to present his nomination forms to the Commission was Mr. Kofi Kranting. There were no IT issues with his nomination forms. However, the technical team noticed that 19 persons who had allegedly supported the CPP candidate had also supported Mr. Kofi Kranting. A further check revealed that these persons had not endorsed the candidate. Indeed, the CPP wrote to the Commission about the issue, indicating that these persons were executives of their party. The technical team found that the signatures of these 19 persons were fake, and the matter was referred to the CID Department of the Ghana Police Service. The CID did confirm that these signatures were fake. The candidate has therefore been disqualified, and the Commission would forward this issue to the police for further action. Mr. Kofi Gane was the 12th person to file his nominations with the Commission. There were no IT issues. However, the technical team found that a number of the signatures of many supporters followed the same pattern. And this was the signatures were referred to the CID division of the Ghana Police Service. And the police has confirmed that indeed a good number of the signatures were fake. The candidate has therefore been disqualified and will therefore not contest the 2020 presidential election. Mr. Akwesi Odike was the 13th person to file his nominations with the Commission. There were no IT issues. However, the technical team noticed that the handwritings were similar and the signatures were also similar and referred the matter to the CID division of the Ghana Police Service. The CID division confirmed that indeed a number of the signatures were fake, and the candidate has therefore been disqualified and will not contest in the 2020 presidential election. Mr. Kwesi Busumbru of the PAP was the 14th person to file his nomination forms with the Commission. There were no IT issues. However, the candidate failed to provide supporters for some districts in the Greater Accra region and had incomplete data for a number of his supporters. Indeed, some of the supporters were not registered voters in the area of authority of the district assembly to which they endorsed his candidature, and there are a good number of them. The technical team also noted that the same persons, although they had endorsed for him on the 4 separate forms, had different signatures. And what this means is that if you look at the forms, there were 4 forms, and so if you have a person called Amasewa, her signature appeared on the 4 forms, his signature as appearing on the 4 forms were different. And this was in the case of Ashanti and Northeast regions. This was referred to the CID division of the Ghana Police Service, and they noted that the signatures were fake. And he has been disqualified from participating and contesting in the 2020 presidential election. The 15th candidate to present his nomination forms to the Commission was Mr. Ajeni Mbwatin. There were no IT issues with his form. However, a good number of the 3 of the persons who supported his candidature have denied endorsing the candidate's nomination, and the Commission has a letter to that effect. The Commission referred the matter to the CID division of the Ghana Police Service, and they confirmed that the signatures were fake. He has therefore been disqualified from contesting the 2020 presidential election.
Madam Jimensa have revealed the Commission would refund the 100,000 cedis filing fees to the disqualified aspirants.
To the aspiring presidential candidates who did not make this process, we wish you better luck next time. Your filing fees of 100,000 cedis will be refunded to you. To you, our distinguished citizens and our friends from the media, we thank you for believing in us and for walking this journey with us. We pledge that we will conduct ourselves in truth and integrity and organize a fair, credible, transparent, peaceful election come 7th December 2020.
Reacting to allegations she says seek to discredit the Commission's integrity, Madam Jimensa asked persons who have issues with the electoral process to raise them with the Commission or cease the attacks.
The EC can never rig an election. The processes are transparent, they are credible, they are tight, and they are accountable. And we cannot for any reason have a flawed election with this kind of process that has been held globally. I think even in advanced democracies, this transparency does not exist. Herein lies the transparency and openness of our process, making it difficult for anybody to rig an election or for any process to be flawed. Can anybody here or can anybody in the public tell us at which point of this transparent process the EC can rig the election? We use this platform to call on all political parties and stakeholders who have genuine concerns with the processes outlined to raise them in the full glare of the public. Once we as a commission are informed about the weaknesses and gaps in the processes outlined, we will take immediate steps to address these gaps, close and seal the gaps, and report same to the public in an open, transparent, and accountable manner. Until then, we entreat the naysayers to cease their onslaught of trying to discredit a thorough and credible process, and their onslaught of trying to discredit a commission that has been open and transparent and accountable to the people that it serves, that is the good people of this country. If for nothing at all, the current commission has opened up all its processes to the public and removed the cloaks of secrecy that shrouded our activities and operations in the past. We have laid bare our processes for all to see.
All right, so let's take a look at those who made it onto the 2020 ballot, or those who are making it onto the 2020 ballot and those who couldn't. We start with those who were disqualified, and for the disqualified aspirants, we have Kofi Koranting, who's an independent candidate, Mary Kofi Gan, who's also an independent candidate, Akwesi Adai Odike of the UPP, Kwesi Busumru of PAP, and then Nana Ejenim Boateng of the UFP. They have been disqualified, and the EC chairperson stated the reasons why they were disqualified. So now on to the qualified candidates. We have Alfred Kwame Esiru Walker, who's an independent candidate, Nana Adodankwa Kufuado, who's the sitting president, incumbent president, and of the MPP, Christian Kwabna Andrews of the GUM, and then we also have Bridget Jogbanuku of the PPP, John Dramani Mahama of the NDC, Ikuadonko of the GFP, Nana Konedo Ajama Rawlings of the NDP, Hassan Ayarga of the APC, and Ivor Greenstreet of the CPP. And then Henry Herbert Latte of the GCPP also made it, or is making it onto the ballot. Percival Kofi Akpalu of the LPG is also making it, and David Apasera of the PNC is also making it. Now joining us on phone is Samson Ladiayenini, legal practitioner, for us to get some insight as to the options available to the people who were disqualified, if at all there are any options. Thank you very much, Samson. Now, the 5 who have been disqualified, is that the end of the road for them as far as the December 2020 election is concerned, or they have the option to appeal this or fight it in court?
Due process at the Electoral Commission, like in other situations where the law provides for an appeal within the same institution for a consideration or a review. There's no room for an appeal at the Electoral Commission. What exists at the Electoral Commission by its laws is the provisions of the law that allows for candidates who have submitted their nomination to be afforded an opportunity to make alterations or amendments to the form. But the alterations and amendments have to be done within the period allowed for the nominations, so that by close of nominations, that room is closed once an opportunity has been afforded anyone who had any anomalies that needed correction or alteration or amendment. So if you look at the 2016 judgment of the High Court, which set aside the decision of the Electoral Commission then constituted against Papa Kwesi Indum for not allowing him the opportunity to make the alterations and amendments. And then if you look at the Supreme Court decision, because after Papa Kwesi Indum won that case, the Electoral Commission was dissatisfied and went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court also confirmed the decision of the High Court and made consequential orders, 4 consequential orders, including that the Electoral Commissioner had to extend the nomination period by 1 day, so that within the period of extension, then number 2, it allows the candidates to make the alterations and the amendments that are required for them to be able to contest. Now, the Electoral Commission, as I understand, appears to say that it has given them the opportunity to make the corrections. So once that is done, it does appear that the door is shut. But the door in a courtroom is never shut. Even if you are giving opportunity to make corrections, I doubt that anybody has opportunity to make corrections regarding questions of fraud. So in respect of those that are accused of engaging in forgery, you are not supposed to be allowed an opportunity to correct it, even within the window that existed, because the law is that fraud vitiates everything. Like fraud destroys everything. If it's a house you are building and you began it on a foundation of fraud, it will come collapsing and it cannot be rescued. So this is the allegation for now. It remains an allegation until, if it is challenged, a court proves otherwise.
All right. So something, talking about the issue of forgeries or alleged forgeries, you indicated that there are allegations at this point. So they being allegations, is that enough to disqualify these people, or should the police CID investigate the matter and they determine that these are actually, not, they're just allegations and they couldn't prove them? Could we have these people reinstated?
The police is not a court. The decision of the police cannot be final on a question of fraud.
All right. So should it get to court? And the court, should the court clear them?
No, that's not how the process is done. I am seeing you trying to steal. You are saying I should wait for you to finish what you are going to do. No, it's not allowed. I'm watching you trying to commit murder. You say I should wait you finish the commission of the murder before I can raise an issue. No. So once they have identified the issues and the issues border on fraud, they are at liberty to make that allegation. And then if the police is minded to take the people to court and charge them for the crime, if you are forging an official document, the law says you are committing a second-degree felony, where if you are found guilty, you are looking to go to jail for a maximum of about 10 years. If you are forging other documents which are not official or judicial documents, it's a misdemeanor, and you are looking forward to about 3 years. Now, they put the allegations in a charge before a court, and then you go and answer. If in the end you're acquitted, then you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do. If you feel that you are being unfairly treated, you also have the opportunity to take the first step in a court of law, to take a process of a judicial review to challenge what the Electoral Commission has done, like Papa Kwesindum did in 2016, and Justice Cheba in that very, sound decision, except that he was faulted slightly by the Supreme Court for making, consequential orders, which the High Court doesn't have the power to do. And the Supreme Court took those decisions by itself. So if you are aggrieved, you can go to court. But look, when the evidence is staring at you, you are better off not wasting your time in any courtroom. And this time, too, the circumstances are a bit, challenging. The time to the election is just too close. Around the time that they took the decisions and the court ruled in 2016, I think the decisions all came sometime in November, October. Everything was sorted. So if it is now you are going in October, the court may set up special, courts to fast track the process. But as we know now, no special courts have been set up, as Judge Georgina Wood did at the time. Special courts were set up, and they ensured there was a lot of speed in the process. But look, when fraud is raised, like I say, in law we say fraud vitiates omne vitiates. Fraud vitiates everything. It destroys everything. And the allegation of it is sufficient for you to be set aside until you have shown that you are not. It shouldn't be the other way around, that it must go to a court, and a court must find that you have actually committed fraud before your name is removed or you are disqualified. I don't think that is how it ought to be done.
All right. Thank you very much, Samson Ladi Ayenini, legal practitioner. And moving on to another election-related story, which also has a criminal element. The NDC parliamentary candidate for Agona West, Paul Ofori Amwa, is currently in police custody over an alleged plot to assassinate the gender minister. This Ofori Amwa is said to have admitted issuing 2 checks found in the hotel room of some suspects arrested in connection with the crime. He's been charged with preparations to commit crime, to it murder, and abetment to commit crime, to it murder. Central Region Police PRO Irene Sewapong has been interacting with Central Region correspondent Richard Kodonyako.
Today, 19th of October 2020, Honorable Cynthia Mamle Morrison, MP for Agona West, has made a formal complaint to police that the 4 men who were arrested at the hotel in Swedru by police on the 17th October 2020 has a plot to kill her. Complainant's statement has been taken from the honorable member and investigations are ongoing. Today, 19th October 2020, the 4 suspects who were arrested at a hotel in Swedru has been remanded into police custody by Circuit Court 1, Cape Coast, by Her Honor, Mrs. Dorinda Smith Atta, to reappear on the 30th of October 2020. They were cautioned on the following charges. 1. Preparation to commit crime, to wit murder. 2. Carrying offensive weapon. Again, today, police invited the parliamentary candidates, Mr. Paul Ofori Amwa, who has also reported at the regional headquarters. And he has admitted of issuing the 2 bank checks that were picked by police at the hotel when the search was conducted in the rooms and also on the suspects. The parliamentary candidate is currently at the regional CID and is assisting police with investigations. His caution statement has been taken on 1. Abetment to commit crime, to wit murder, and also preparation to commit crime, that is murder. The Central Regional Police wants to assure the general public that investigations are ongoing on the 2 issues that we are investigating. Again, we also want to appeal to the general public that any information connected to the 4 persons who were arrested on suspicion at Swedro on the 17th of October 2020, the general public should contact police on 18555.
Joining us via Zoom now is Richard Kojonyako, our Central Region correspondent. Richard, so you connect the dots for us. How is it that the parliamentary candidate for the NDC got connected? Is it just the case of the checks found on the suspects who were arrested, or there's some more to the story?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you now.
So investigation by the police reveals that the suspects, now the parliamentary candidate of the NDC in the Aguna West constituency, has actually admitted issuing the 2 checks to these 4 suspects who were put before court today. And so the dot people are connecting is that, well, Cynthia Mamle Morrison is the parliamentary candidate of the MPP, and then he is a parliamentary candidate of the NDC. People are really shocked, and they are asking themselves, why on earth will he issue 2 checks, open checks, to these 4 suspects who were picked in a hotel room with what police suggest as offensive weapons. And so that is why they have, 3 charges have been put on their head. They are to reappear in court on the 30th of October. And then he has 2 charges on his head, preparations to commit crime and murder, and then abetment of crime. And so that is where people do not understand.
But what have been the reactions from especially the NDC?
Well, so it's been cold coming from the constituency. They do not know what to say, and they say that, well, it remains allegation, but they are looking forward to what the candidate would tell the police going on with investigations to ascertain really what moved him to issue the checks. People are really asking the purpose really for the issuance of the 2 checks to the suspects.
Is it that the suspect himself hasn't said anything so far?
What he said to the police is the admission that he indeed issued the check. But the police are yet to ask him for what purpose, the purpose for which these 2 checks were given the suspect. And so they are still investigating. In fact, in the morning when I went to the regional police command, I saw his vehicle parked. And then around 6 p.m., his vehicle was still parked there. And he was in the police, a CID, assisting them with information. So they are gleaning more information from him to actually, prosecute this very case.
All right. The other case of interest to us is the murder of the MP for Infantimang, which I know you're following. What's the very latest on that as well?
Well, so very latest is that the first vice chairman of the New Patriotic Party in the constituency was also invited by the police, and his statement has been written. You remember that when the MP was traveling on that fateful day, he was with the member of parliament, and so he did a lot of the narrations. We got to know that the MP identified himself to the supposed robbers. Yes. And so the police thought that he had a lot more to say, and so they invited him. The police say that these suspects that they have in their custody, the 5 of them, they were picked from different locations, some from the Mankesimi South, others on the way to Kumasi, and others from the Edumaku area. And they are looking forward to arresting more of these suspects because they want the general public, because they say that that is not the end of the matter. There are so many dots to be connected. And so they are looking forward to the general public volunteering information to the police to assist them to get the perpetrators and to ensure that justice is really served. But tomorrow we are told that the wife of the parliamentary, the MP who died, would be filing her nomination with the Electoral Commission because, a 10-day moratorium had to be given by the Electoral Commission according to the constitutional instrument that they are working with. And so once the party has agreed that she is supposed to replace the husband, then the filing process would have to begin. And so that is what is going to happen.
All right. Thank you very much. Richard Kojonyako is our Central Region correspondent. All right, then moving on, joint news investigations have uncovered how some licensed cocoa buying companies and farmer society groups illegally rent their certification license for as high as $1 million cedis to wealthy businesses in a bid to exploit the cocoa sustainability initiative, which pays farmers a premium for growing certified cocoa. In a documentary titled Robbing the Poor, investigative journalist Kwete Nate details how in many cocoa growing areas in Ghana, there's been a blatant abuse of the system, giving rise to a situation where some LBCs do not pay the appropriate premium and also pass regular cocoa as certified. These underhand dealings are said to make the farmer poorer, defeating the purpose of the cocoa sustainability program. We bring you excerpts of the documentary.
It's another shady tale of exploitation of cocoa farmers. It's a web of shady deals involving officials of certification bodies, licensed cocoa companies, and cocoa interest groups.
Everything that we need to do to get a certificate is me.
We will take you on a journey to expose the crooks who are compromising the integrity of the International Cocoa Sustainability Program.
The actual work that we are going to do will just be like 10%, 90% I will forge it.
It may appear as a simple case of poor implementation of the cocoa certification program. However, this is a complex, dubious, deliberate practice of buying and bagging conventional cocoa as certified cocoa. In this edition of Hotline, my colleague Kwete Nate digs into the rot that has characterized the cocoa certification program. He goes in search of hard evidence in major cocoa growing areas in the Ashanti, Western, Eastern, and Central regions, and shows how officials of certification bodies act as auditors and shadow staff to aid in the acquisition of certificates and $1 million murky deals with key stakeholders in the cocoa sector, facilitating the entire process.
The cocoa sustainability programs are meant to improve on the livelihoods of the cocoa farmers. They are also meant to address the challenges we face in the supply chain, and then also to address the consumption and the processing aspect of it.
In the early 2000s, key players in the cocoa sector and consumers were concerned about the future of cocoa production. These concerns were about poor living standards of cocoa growers, the use of chemicals for cultivation of cocoa, and child labor on the farms. The Cocoa Sustainability Program was introduced so that cocoa farmers will be paid a price premium for producing high-grade cocoa under internationally approved certification standards. However, some licensed buying companies and farmer societies have compromised the entire process. Today, conventional cocoa is sold as high-grade certified cocoa. Wealthy individuals and organizations can also buy or rent the licenses of other cocoa buying companies. And then there is a whimsical, chaotic, and unregulated payment of premiums where cocoa farmers are paid a pittance for the certified cocoa. That's why we go undercover to expose those crooks robbing the poor.
And Robbing the Poor outline documentary will be showing in about an hour from now right here on this channel. Do stay tuned in. We're taking a break here on Joy News Prime, but still ahead. Multimedia gets 14 nominations at 2019 Ghana Journalist Awards.
Like some journalists who have gone the extra mile, not only journalists, also media institutions, who have really excelled in their coverage, in displaying their analytical power, displaying their innovative spark, displaying their editorial competence in covering this pandemic.
We'll be telling you the journalists who made the shortlist. Do stay tuned in.
Hello, good evening. It's time for business. I'm Charles Aitib. Now, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has put in place all necessary measures to ensure that the goods of origin rules under the Continental Free Trade Agreement process is strictly adhered to by all member countries. Now, the division, together with the counterparts in the ECOWAS region, are expected to submit the tariff offer to the AU before the end of the year. This will ensure that all countries abide by this particular law. Speaking to Joy Business Assistant Commissioner in charge of the entire single market in Africa, Frenchina Couture, assured that Ghana is in the best position to implement all the customs rule under the agreement.
The African Continental Free Trade Agreement area, just like any other free trade agreement, has a setup that we'll have to deal with in trying to fulfill all processes and agreements as far as what we call AFTA is concerned. You know, this has to do with goods that will trade among African countries. And I say trade among African countries because there are set rules and regulations that one will have to go through in order to be able to get the full benefit of this free trade agreement area that we are talking about. And these set rules are what we call in customs rules of origin. We have a set of rules that will govern the trading of these goods among African countries. It is only when you meet the requirements or the regulations of these set rules that we deem your goods to be originating, and they are the only goods that will benefit from this free trade agreement area. So as traders, people in trade, we have to be conversant with these set rules and regulations. Not only trade, but we in customs as well have to be very conversant with these rules that we have put in place for trading among ourselves.
And away from that, the Nation Builders Corps is assuring its trainees in the public and private sector of permanent jobs. Now, the NAPCO program currently gives temporary jobs to over 23,000 trainees in the Ashanti region. The regional coordinator of NAPCO, Dennis Kwakwa, says that government will transition trainees onto a permanent job scheme. He was speaking at a cleanup exercise organized by NAPCO at the Adishia Market and its environs in Kumasi to mark the second anniversary of the program. Love FM's Anita Sewa Ajuga was there and now reports.
The Nation Builders Corps is a government initiative which seeks to solve graduates' unemployment in the country. Beneficiaries currently enjoy a fixed 750 Ghana cedi monthly stipend. But Regional Coordinator Dennis Kwakwa says government is working to fix the trainees on permanent jobs in the public and private sectors. He was speaking after a cleanup exercise organized by NAPCO to mark its second anniversary.
Well, our second anniversary is the beginning of transitioning them from the NAPCO program onto a permanent job scheme. And so we have three exit pathways that is before the NAPCO trainees. Those who want to work in government sectors are going to choose, and government is going to get them the clearance to be employed fully. Those who want to be in entrepreneurship, government is going to support them with the needed support. In fact, those who will come out with very innovative ideas that could employ more than 10 people can benefit from more than 100,000 scheme from the offices of NAPE and then Maslow. And then those of them who still think they have to continue their education from this moment, we believe government can support them through scholarships. So these are the three fundamental exit pathways.
The NAPCO trainees welcomed government assurance of permanent jobs. Dennis Opoku Katechie is national president for the Association of NAPCO trainees.
We petitioned the government to permanently employ all NAPCO trainees, all because we do remember where we were at first. And of course, after the end of the program, we are not wishing to go back to where we were. So we appeal to the president and stakeholders to make us permanent at our various institutions and agencies. And of course, we are all testifying, witnessing the air blowing here and there, that our permanent job petition is granted. And of course, things are being underway. There has been a lot of consultations with the stakeholders, mode implementation partners on how all NAPCO trainees can be made permanent at our various institutions institution. Of course, not all NAPCO trainees are interested in permanent job. Some of them are willing to also be entrepreneur. And of course, what we are hearing, there has been a provision for about 20,000 NAPCO trainees, those who are willing to also establish their own business. And of course, what we want to tell the government is that we really appreciate what we are hearing, and we know very well that from next week, our various portals are going to be updated. There's going to be a series of workshops for NAPCO trainees at their various district levels and regional levels. These are all processes that we are supposed to go through to ultimately get our permanent job.
Anita Sewa Ajogan reporting.
Some good news there for our NAPCO trainees. That's how we end business for this edition. Sport is up next with Gary L. Smith. You stay.
Time for the sport. I'm Gary L. Smith. Thank you for your time. We begin with the news that the owner of King Faisal, Alhaji Gruza, has revealed that his team will undergo COVID-19 tests ahead of the new season. Now, despite starting training about 2 weeks ago, King Faisal is yet to conduct the mandatory test. He was speaking to my colleague Delali Atiasi of Love FM in Kumasi.
You see, and it's a far different. Okay. But some of them are in the team.
So, Alhaji, from what you've seen at the training and their response to training, you think that by the time we start the league, they'll be ready?
Even now, we need them to push them for the stamina.
Okay.
That's the report from the coach. Because of that, I told them no anyone should recommend any player again. Okay. The coach told me. He said, only me. I said, me, I don't have any place. But me, if anyone called me, I have a good player, I would tell him, come, coach, to see him. Because if I rejected the person, if he get the good one, he won't bring it to me. Yes, sir. That is King Faisal.
Okay. I mean, one of the requirements for us to start training is that the boys should go through their COVID test. Yes. The government one has not started, but as a club, what have you done? I mean,
we done some of them. We done the distance, but we didn't get the number. You know, we are not like Kumasi, Asante Kotoko, Accra. I think Kumasi, Asante Kotoko started last two weeks. They started last 2 weeks, and has the first club started their COVID test, and we too. We are, because of the financial difficulty, I spoke with one of the doctors in the office of the corona. They said they will give us chance.
To some Paralympic news, and the newly crowned Sports Personality of the Year at the recent Swag Award, Raphael Nkegbe, is targeting medals at the 2023 Africa Games. The para-athlete believes that hosting the games in Ghana serves as an opportunity to rewrite history.
I launched Bocho for Gold in 2018 coming to 2019. The aim is to win gold in 2019 All-African Games. So I came with the project Bocho for Gold. So the dream is still on. As Ghana will be hosting the 2023, my aim is to put Ghana in that ladder that we can say, yes, now we are home. But the aim now, the first hurdle is the Tokyo Paralympics. I'm looking forward to make a mark because I've been to the 3-time Paralympic. This will be my 4th time. Ghana have never won any Paralympic medal yet, so I'm looking forward to get that first ever Ghana Paralympic medal. If all goes well because Bocho have been putting individual effort in. This is the time I'm calling on government, I'm calling on the corporate body to believe in the dream we are having because we are always projecting Ghana up there in the highest level.
Well, it's been airing all day. If you can't find it, head over to our Twitter, Joy Sports GH, or Instagram, even, yes, on Joy Sports GH. You can find the video there as well so that you take a look at it. The full report is there. I'm Gary L. Smith, and that is your sport for now.
At this time for Showbiz, and Becky is here, and you're welcome back.
Thank you so much. You look nice.
Thank you. And
can I touch that? No, sorry.
It's fine, you can.
Okay.
All right, but we say thank you to Kadi for sitting in for you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Kadi, and thank you so much, everyone, for having Kadi.
Okay,
oh, we don't have time. Let's talk about GH Unite. Izzy, it's been a very long time I've gone for anything fun, like
any event.
I'm so bored right now. But we have, thanks to Logi Entertainment, we have GH.
I see you were not at Shatter's birthday party.
He didn't invite me.
Oh,
you? Can you imagine? See, this world, if you're not rich, we'll talk about Shatter's birthday party.
Okay,
but let's talk about GH Unite, which is set to have Stoneboy and Samini on one stage. Can you imagine?
That probably would be the first time they actually come on the same stage after a spat between them sometime back.
Yes, so we're looking forward to that. But we spoke to Logi, Papa Logi, we call him. He is the organizer of this event, and he tells us more.
This is the maiden edition of its kind, and after this one, we go with another set of artists.
And it's set to promote exactly what?
Good music, interact with the audience, the musician. Because of the COVID-19, a lot of people are depressed. You know, we need to ginger the fans out there to interact with their musicians. Because of the COVID, no artist is traveling abroad to play show. No one is going anywhere. They are all at something. So we wanted to put something together so that everybody will be able to have fun. No, once we all want the peace to prevail in this country, I think that it's good that we also talk about peace. But
well, that's cool. It's a virtual concert.
So, Izzy, you're invited, like specially invited. You'll be one of the people sitting, you know.
Virtual concert. So I just sit at my home too.
But you could go. 100 people are invited, and you're part of that 100 people.
Really?
So do you accept?
The organizer?
Oh, I'm not, you know, the organizer, but I have links. You know, I want to take you. I want you to be there.
But Shatta didn't invite.
Shatta didn't invite me. Let's talk about Shatta. Okay. See, Shatta, after the collaboration with Beyonce, I don't hear of Shatta.
Oh, really?
Oh.
But you speak with him frequently.
Can you imagine? If I tell anybody that I speak to Shatta, they won't believe me because he didn't invite me for the party. Let's check out those who came for the party.
Well, yeah, you can.
But he should have invited you. You know, you.
No. I mean, I don't speak with him often. Yeah, like you do. But I've never spoken with him.
But it was nice. I mean, for turning 35 or 30, 36, I'm not too sure. I didn't give back to him.
He's still pretty young.
Yeah, he had to just
you don't have to give back to him to know how is he.
Well, our musicians are superstars. They don't tell us, you know, their right age. It's like giving us football age all the time. So sometimes we get confused.
You can't blame me. Actually, that's an issue that's come up.
Sometimes they're turning 21, and the other time they're turning 30. Like easy, really. But you should start singing.
Yeah.
I tried encouraging Aisha, but it didn't work. I think that you will be more,
Okay,
because
so you're gonna manage me.
I mean, forget about Aisha, because Emilia Broby.
Yeah.
You know when she started Famiko. Today she has another song featuring Kwame Eugene.
Okay.
And it's dope. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So she was speaking to Andy Dusty, explaining her musical journey and how she started when we all were laughing at it. Today, this is where Emilia Broby is.
Congratulations to her.
Yeah.
It's obvious that she's improved.
Yes, a lot.
Over time.
Yeah. You want to take a listen to the first ever Famiko song?
Well, it won't be bad.
Please.
So to remind us.
Yes,
where
Aisha is not ready, so.
But you're talking about Shatawale, and yet he still wouldn't invite you to his party.
Oh, Shatta.
Okay, thank you very much for Becky for bringing us Showbiz that bit. But we have more news. Do stay tuned in. Members of the Senior Staff Association of KNUST have declared an indefinite strike starting Monday over unpaid Tier 2 pension arrears, among others. Leadership of the association has brought to a halt all activities engaged by its members on the university campus. President of the Senior Staff Association, KNUST, George Ansong, says government has refused to meet many of the association's welfare demands. He tells Prince Appiah they will put together a task force to ensure the strike is fully enforced.
Members of the Senior Staff Association of KNUST gathered in front of the University Administration Block today after leaving their duty post.
Everybody is part of the strike.
Key among their grievances, they say, is government's refusal to settle their Tier 2 pension arrears. George Ansong is president of the association.
The government initiated this Tier 2 from 2010 and they said it will be in operation in 2020. People have retired this year and still government is holding on to the money. Number 2 is market premium. Those are GS and other places are taken. And we working in the university, you tell us we work in the university so we don't qualify. While some of our members are holding PhDs and MPhils and masters. So we don't know the criteria they are using. So the government should come clear. We think that we qualify. We also there when we heard the government has given some category of staff 15% non-basic. We asked and they are telling us that one too we don't qualify because it is linked up with the market premium. How? And they are not able to tell us. We have tried severally to engage the minister, all to no avail. So we have decided not only KNUST as a national body to lay down our tools.
Members also marched to the KNUST hospital. We are currently in the premises of the KNUST hospital where leadership of the Senior Staff Association are compelling their members to come out of their offices and join the strike action. It's supposed to start today, which means that most of the patients who are going to be here for treatment might not get the treatment they deserve. At a point, they allowed nurses who were already at post to work. At the KNUST Basic School, the striking KNUST senior staff compelled their members there to comply with the strike. Members of the Senior Staff Association of KNUST say they intend to continue with the strike until government meets their demands. Prince Apia reporting.
10 journalists and 4 brands from the multimedia group join news at Sempa FM, Adom FM and Inshra FM are up for awards at the 25th edition of the Ghana Journalists Association Awards slated for Saturday, October 24, 2020. This year's ceremony, which is on the theme COVID-19 and credible presidential and parliamentary elections, will honor journalists who have demonstrated exceptional reporting during the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as those who have contributed to the deepening of democracy in the country. Afil Moni is president of the GJM.
Last 3 weeks, the GJM Awards Committee has been scrutinizing the more than 600 entries they received from journalists across the country seeking to win awards in about 40 categories. And some were fortunate, others were not fortunate. But the unfortunate ones should not be described as non-performance, because it's a competitive category. It's a competition, and every competition, you either have the chance to win or have the chance not to win. So, so they've come up with lists in various areas like sports, like banking and finance, like environment, like COVID. One special area we added to the categories is COVID-19 special report, because it needed us to emphasize the devastating impact of the pandemic. In fact, the insidious nature of the pandemic has affected almost every sector of the economy and our social lives. So we felt it was necessary to select some journalists who have gone the extra mile, not only journalists, also media institutions, who have really excelled in their coverage, in displaying their analytical power, displaying their innovative spark, displaying their editorial competence in covering this pandemic. So apart from us, apart from individuals, we also have media institutions, and they are going to be honored handsomely come Saturday, 24 October at Movenpick Ambassador Hotel. And of course, we angled the theme on not only COVID, but also the 2020 elections, how to achieve the credibility and acceptability of the result at the end of it all. And journalists have a central role to play to not only cover the elections, but also get the citizenry to own the various processes which will culminate in the elections on December 7. You know, elections are the centerpiece of democracy, but at the same time, elections can be chaotic and disastrous. There are so many little examples we can cite.
All right, we're taking a break to bring you more business. Stay tuned in.
In business, the Ashanti Regional Agricultural Directorate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is projecting a sharp growth in the Planting for Food and Jobs program. Now, this will be achieved through the application of organic fertilizer in the vegetable component of government agri program. There is more in this report.
The region in 2017 had 20,000 farmers participating in the Planted for Food and Jobs program. As at August this year, the numbers have increased to 218,000 farmers in the program. Regional Agric Director Reverend John Menu projects a significant growth with corresponding increase in production when the region successfully adapts the use of organic fertilizers.
Organic fertilizers are very good for our vegetables. And as I was saying, vegetables are crops that take very short lifespan to produce. Within 1 month, 2 months, latest by 2.5 months, you are harvesting. And you know, most of chemicals or inorganics, it takes a long time for their residue to break down. But the organics, they just break down within the shortest possible time. That's the reason why some of us are so happy about the use of organic products and precisely the fertilizer on our vegetables. The vegetables are crops that with little or no cooking, you can just harvest the next 1 hour you are eating. So if you have to pump or add some inorganics, that will have some residue and takes about 2 or 3 months before it breaks down. Then it becomes worrying. And for this region, the scale of planting for food and job as far as vegetable production and other crops are concerned is going up. By the end of November, the season for the supply of subsidy will go down.
Now, the president of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Nana Appiagyei-Dankwa I, has called on the business community to deepen their support to the vulnerable in the wake of COVID-19. He made this known when he donated items and foodstuffs to the Countryside Children's Welfare at Boduasi. There is more in this report.
Were put on the faces of these children at the Countryside Children's Welfare Home at Boduasi in the Central Region. This is the third time this year the president of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Nana Appiagyei-Dankwa I, has donated items over 50,000 cedis to the vulnerable ones.
This presentation with clothing and shoes and other things, seriously, just to give it to the mothers, to encourage them and to motivate them for taking care of these young ones without any other fee or salary.
Mr. Osoyewusu, the manager at the Boduasi Countryside Children's Welfare Home, who received the items, thanked Nana Dr. Appiagyei-Dankwa I and his family for their continuous support to the home.
We are saying very big thank you to him and all those who supported him to come all the way to this our village to donate these items to us.
Speaking to Joy Business, the president of the chamber called on the business community to increase support for the vulnerable who are most exposed to the impacts of the coronavirus.
Continue to appeal to the business community, and that's for, as part of their corporate social responsibility, they should also look for such homes and do their best to support them.
Corporate social responsibility has been at the forefront of business development in Ghana amidst the coronavirus pandemic. Already, the private sector has contributed over $20 million to government's COVID-19 trust fund, all in a bid to help curb the spread of the virus and also its dire impacts on vulnerable groups.
And on that note, we end business.
Right, it's time now for our hotline documentary, Robbing the Poor. Do stay tuned. If that'll be it for the bulletin for this evening.